Hello my bold and bright people, it's your girl Asante the artist, helping you move consciously and creatively through life, so let's go. I've been pretty nervous to do this video. I meant to do it last week and then I put it off. And now we're here on October 11th as I film this. I did a video a while back with Ash Hardell about questioning their gender on my channel and about questioning my sexuality on their channel. So if you watched that, then you may have guessed that I am asexual. I filmed that back in June, and since then, since that video came out, I got a bunch of great response and have just kind of continued to realize that I'm definitely not straight. And so now at this point I feel pretty confident that I am asexual, and so felt like this was the native place to come out and talk about that. YouTube is a place where I've learned a lot about sexuality in general and also about my sexuality. I watched a bunch of asexual videos, and so this felt like a natural thing to do. I don't really talk a lot about my sexuality on my channel because on the one hand I'm like, it's nobody's business. Like, this is very personal. It's a very personal thing to talk about, and people are very open and vulnerable on the internet, and I believe in vulnerability and I believe in, authenticity. So I did want to share, but I also don't know how much more I'll be saying on the topic. Me personally, depends on how this goes. But yeah, I want to be visible because there's not a lot of asexual content out there. There's hardly any representation. So, while I don't need to be a beacon of, asexual community by any means, I'm not really interested in that, but I am interested in being just, a bit of representation and, hey, hello, we exist, we're here. We're apparently 1% of the population, although that seems kind of low to me, and I feel like because people aren't talking about asexuality and a lot of people don't know that it's a thing in humans and not just plants, it's less likely for people to identify as asexual if no one's talking about it and if they don't know that it's an option, which I didn't. I did not realize I was asexual until pretty late, like a couple of years ago is when I started thinking that I probably was. I had always just assumed that I was straight. Finishing elementary school, entering middle school, people are learning about hormones and sex and what their romantic life will be and getting their first boyfriend and girlfriends. Within those conversations, it was really just gay or straight, and there are a couple of guys that I was like, oh, this guy's kind of cute, so guess I'm straight. Guess I'm only into guys. I feel like I was going through motions and doing things that I thought I was supposed to do, and trying to flirt with people. I never had a boyfriend. Fun fact, I've never been in a serious relationship, so that was like another tell, because I feel like people are so pressed to be in relationships, and I'm so not. I remember around the end of elementary school in like 4th or 5th grade, all of my friends had a crush on this guy, and I just pretended to have a crush on him too. I was like, oh yeah, no, he's so cute. Oh yeah, I totally want him. Oh yeah, oh. Like, I did not care. And I think any feelings that I may have had for women were suppressed and not read as feelings because, again, gay or straight, one of two boxes, gotta pick one, super binary. Just assumed that I was straight because that was like the expectation and the default. So I was pretty narrow-minded, very ignorant, as we all are initially. No one is born knowing everything and being super woke. We are all, ignorant at first until we learn. And I did not really learn about sexuality in all of its shades and hues and colorful majesty until I got on YouTube and entered college. Those two events coincided. I hadn't really interrogated my sexuality before getting on YouTube and being in college because it was a non-issue for me. I had some flirtationships and some experiences, but never anything serious. I thought guys were funny and cute, and I like being sexy, dancing and stuff. And, I love my body and I love being physical. I love dancing. I love moving together with people. But I wasn't pressed about having any sort of sexual desire, romantic desire, attraction. It was kind of like, if it happened, it happened, you know, whatever. But if not, I'm fine, and I'm fine being single. So as I learned more about sexuality and watched more YouTube videos and thought more about my own sexuality and reflecting on that, I tried to look back on my life and things that I had felt and things that I had done and trying to determine where I fell. And it's not that your behavior equals your sexuality. But for me, I was trying to draw some conclusions, and I honestly don't have that much to work with. I don't know. And back when I was kind of trying to be more out there and getting with people, I didn't really see being with women as an option for me. I have wanted to... This is so personal. I have kissed women and meant it and wanted to, but they were kind of like fleeting moments, not really thinking about it afterwards and not digging into that and seeing that as viable and as real. And so part of me is like, well, I've been assuming that I was straight and just kind of checking for guys and have not had a ton of luck. And also just realizing how strong and pervasive straight culture is. Just in looking at straight culture recently, I'm just like, I don't relate to any of this. I do not relate. Sex being everywhere. And everyone being so preoccupied with sex and who you're sleeping with all the time, talking about how they're so thirsty or they're so dry or that. I don't get it. I don't get it. When I did start to reflect a bit more and care a bit more about it, I did start to feel kind of broken, and like I had some sex drive switch that was just broken, and I would eventually like turn on and really want to go after people and want to date and have all these desires that everyone else seemed to be having. But nope, asexuality is a thing. You're not broken. You don't have a switch that just needs to be turned on. You don't need anyone else to validate or complete you as a person. And that's not to say that I don't want a partner, because I do. Like, I want to get married, I want to have kids, I want to have a house, you know. I've always just seen myself, again with expectations, I've just always seen myself ending up like that. But it's from a different center of motivation than allosexual people. And allosexual people are those that do experience sexual attraction. So it's just coming from a different place. It's not coming from a place of, oh, I want you, must have you, ah. That's my impression of allosexual people. So it's complicated. Right now, I know that I don't experience sexual attraction for the most part. And that's another thing about being asexual, is that it doesn't have to be completely zero, never experience any sort of sexual attraction, but it's just like very, very, very low, because asexuality is a spectrum, just like all sexuality is. And being asexual, it makes it a bit more difficult to determine where you're at romantically and distinguish between platonic and romantic attraction to someone. When I was growing up in grade school, the main difference between whether you liked someone or were just best friends with someone was the person's gender. You know, I'm a woman, and if I liked this guy and wanted to hang out with him all the time, and we were really close, people would be like, oh, you like him, oh, are you dating? Whereas if I hang out with a girl, if we are always together, you know, we go to the bathroom together, we are over each other's houses all the time, we're having sleepovers, no one would be like, oh, you like her, oh, are you dating, you know? So then as we grow up and we mature and we learn and we start to divorce romantic attraction from traditional gender roles, it's harder once you take sex out of that equation to determine, well, do I want to hang out with this person because I just think they're cool and want to be friends with them? Or is this romantic attraction that I'm experiencing? Because I think that difference for a lot of people is the sex aspect. Like, would I want to sleep with them? And if you don't want to sleep with them, they're just a friend. And if you do want to sleep with them, it's like a romantic interest. But if you're asexual, you don't really want to sleep with anybody. So, you know, in trying to determine my romantic feelings, right now I'm like, well, do I feel the same way about men as I do about women in general, as far as attraction. And right now the answer is yes, because I'm not super into anyone right now. I haven't really been attracted to someone else in a while, which is another reason why I determined I was asexual, because I'm not feeling any special feelings for anyone and haven't for years and years, really since, you know, high school, and everyone was playing the part and playing the role and like having a boyfriend. And I'm just like, nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm chilling. I'm all set. I'm single. I'm not even really trying to mingle. And we're good. So yeah. Asexual and romantic, but queer. I'm really gonna go with queer because queer is not straight. And I think the label queer just lends itself to the gray area romantically that I kind of find myself in. It's like, look, I'm not straight, but I'm also not going to be put in a particular box. Given how messy my experience has been and how messy my sort of self-concept is around romantic attraction, I think queer is a suitable label for that. So that's it. I'm coming up. I want the world to know. Yeah, I want you guys to know, and I want to like find more asexual people to follow, to watch, to read. So if you have suggestions, please leave them in the comments. If you are also asexual and have thoughts, please share them in the comments, and particularly like asexual people of color. I'm gonna leave some other asexual videos that I think are great in the description, but they're pretty much all from white people. So particularly asexuals of color, shout out, let me know, I want to find you. If you're new here and you're interested in social issues, culture, and young adulting, then you should subscribe to get new videos from me every week. And if you want to help me make more videos, you can support this channel by joining my Patreon. As always, remember to live spiritedly and think creatively, and I will see you next time. What's making me happy this week is honestly getting this off of my chest. I've been meaning to talk about this for like a long time. I didn't mention in the video, I first started thinking about being asexual like a year and a half ago, is when I was like, I think I'm asexual. If I still feel like this in a year, then maybe I'll think about it then. I'll reckon with it then. And I was like putting it off, in a year from now. And now it's been a year and a half. So another thing that's making me happy this week is reading again. Oh my gosh. I had not had time to read because I've just been like nonstop for the past 2 years. And so I'm getting back to reading. I read Deep Work by Cal Newport. I'm a workaholic and a total, self-development junkie. This book was really great. It has strategies for not working more, but working smarter, like the whole work smarter, not harder thing. This book really demonstrates and lays that out and emphasizes that you should do deep work, but you shouldn't work all the time. Like, you also need to take breaks. You also need to rest and not burn out. So I really enjoyed this book. Well, I'm gonna go not have sex. I'll be right back. The time has come for me to break out of my shell. I've got to shout that I am coming out. Oh, I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. Burn.